first part of chapter 28, right? Chapter 28, am I right? We finished that part until verse 9, right? Verse 9. So we shall go to verse 10 now. Okay, we shall go to verse 10. Chapter 28, verse 10. Okay. Jacob departed from Beersheba and proceeded toward Haran. When he came upon a certain shrine, as the sun had already set, he stopped there for the night. Taking one of the stones at the shrine, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep at that spot. Then he had a dream. A stairway rested on the ground, with its top reaching to the heavens, and God's messengers were going up and down on it. And there was the Lord standing beside him and saying, I, the Lord, am the God of your forefather Abraham and the God of Isaac. The land on which you are lying I will give to you and your descendants. They shall be as plentiful as the dust of the earth, and through them you shall spread out east and west, north and south. In you and your descendants all the nations of the earth shall find blessing. Know that I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go and bring you back to this land. I will never leave you until I have done what I promised to you. Now, of course, go back to Abraham. Abraham is the beginning of the promise of God, right? That Abraham was promised to be the father of many nations. Now, of course, it will not be really fulfilled during the time of Abraham. It will be fulfilled by his descendants. That's why whatever was promised to Abraham, that he will be the father of many nations, will be passed on to his son, Isaac. Right? So, Isaac. Therefore, Isaac was also promised the same thing. That you will be, that through you, the promise to your father Abraham, that he will be the father of many nations, will be fulfilled. And do not worry, Isaac, just like I have promised to Abraham, I will be your shield, and I will give you great reward. Those things are very important, okay? And then now we go to the next generation. And who's the next generation? Jacob. Jacob now will be the son that will carry. Of course, we already heard the story about the birthright, right? Even though supposedly it is, who's supposed to receive the birthright? Esau. Okay? Esau. Okay? He is supposed to be the one to receive the birthright, but we all know the story already of the deception that Jacob made, right? Therefore, Jacob now carries the birthright. Therefore, the promise to Abraham to be the father of all nations will be fulfilled through Jacob now. And with this event, this has been confirmed. Now, notice, my dear friends, that this is the very first time that God will talk to Jacob. Okay? This is the very first encounter of God with Jacob, or Jacob with God. Very first. And do you notice something compared to Abraham and all the rest? Isaac and Abraham and all the rest who have gone before Jacob. Have you noticed something? You don't notice anything, right? This is the very first time that God doesn't talk to the person directly. This is the very first time that God will talk to Jacob only through a dream. Right? Have you noticed that? Yeah, right? Very first time. Because with Abraham, God talks to him directly. With Isaac, God appeared to him, right? Talked to him. But for the very first time, now God only talked to him through the dream. It was through the dream that Jacob was informed by God that you will be the father through you. The promise to your forefather Abraham will be fulfilled. Through you, all nations will come, and I will be your protection. I will give you great reward. That's for me, in a way, very sad. Right? I mean, if I'm Jacob, I will be saying, how come with me? It's only through the dream. Not my grandfather. Talks to him directly. And to my father Isaac, he talks to him directly. But me, only through a dream. Okay? But that's how it is. Okay? That's the encounter with Jacob. It was only through the dream. Now, notice those things. First, They shall be, verse 14, they shall be as plentiful as the dust of the earth. Okay? Another, 15, verse 15. Know that I am with you. I will protect you wherever you go. Okay? In the version of Abraham, notice, I will be your shield. With Jacob, I will protect you wherever you go. And I will bring you back to this land. Okay? Because Jacob is leaving. Oh, by the way, why is Jacob leaving, by the way? Oh, by the way, this time Jacob is going somewhere else. Where? Going to Haran, to the city of Nahor. Why is he going there, by the way? To make sure that we are all on the same page. Because he is looking for a wife, right? But actually, that's just Rebecca saying, okay, you know, Isaac, your son is already old. Oh, by the way, have you noticed something? By this time, Esau is already married to how many? To 2 Hittite women. But notice, Jacob is not yet married. Oh, he must be like, oh, that's why Rebecca is telling Isaac, you know, your son, it's time for him to get married. He should not get married here, not with the Hittite women. That's why he should go to the place of his relatives. But in a way, that was just a way of Rebecca because, of course, that time, Esau threatened his brother, threatened to kill his brother. Okay, so that's where we are. So on his way to Haran, he goes to this place he calls a shrine. Okay? And I will never leave you until I have done what I promised you. Verse 16. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he exclaimed, truly the Lord is in this spot, although I did not know him. See, that's why he would say, I did not know him. Because this is the first encounter. Okay? This is the first encounter. You remember with Abraham also? After how many years? Remember? When God appears, he said, remember me? I am the God Almighty. Okay? Because he has forgotten God, in a way, quote unquote. Truly the Lord is in this spot, although I did not know him. In solemn wonder he cried out, how awesome is this shrine! This is nothing else but an abode of God, and that is the gateway to heaven. Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone that he had put under his head, set it up as a memorial stone, and poured oil on top of it. It's like anointing the... Okay, remember that we have been seeing that every time that there's an encounter with God, the person always makes a marker. Okay, whatever. At this point, it's a stone that Jacob. So it doesn't really matter what marker we use. The most important thing, there's something that reminds us of that particular encounter with God. He called that site Bethel. Do you remember Bethel? Whereas the former name of that town has been lost. Jacob then made this vow. Okay, this is, for me, it's kind of like, wow, how could Jacob do this with God? Listen to Jacob. If God remains with me, notice the word if God remains with me to protect me on this journey I am making, and to give me enough bread to eat and clothing to wear, and I come back safe to my father's house, the Lord shall be my God. Can you imagine? Can you see, like, if he fulfills his promise, then he will be my God. Why do you think? Jealousy? Why? Because he has no relationship with God yet. Remember, this is the first encounter. Okay? So in a way, he doesn't have that deep faith yet in God, if you may call it faith. Okay? From our perspective, of course, it's already faith. But during that time, it's a like personal relationship. It's more of if you have trust and confidence on the person. It's like if you first encounter the person, you don't know him yet, then you automatically have trust on him. Right? And so Jacob, this is a first encounter. It's like okay, he has to build that trust. Okay, to build the trust. This stone that I have set up as a memorial stone shall be God's abode. Of everything you gave me, I will faithfully return a 10th part of it. How could he even say that? How can he even brag like, I give you 10%? I take the 90%. For me, I think that Jacob really doesn't have a good knowledge of God. He doesn't have yet that relationship with God. Okay. Which is in a way, at this point, understandable, and later on we will see, little by little, the development in the trust and confidence of God in Jacob. That's why later on you will realize that after all, Jacob, okay, I want to mention something, but that will destroy the thrill of it. Anyway, we'll see the development of the faith of Jacob. Let's keep that as a surprise. Okay, chapter 29. After Jacob resumed his journey, he came to the land of the Easterners. Looking about, he saw a well in the open country, with 3 droves of sheep huddled near it. 4 droves were watered from that well. So it's a well where all the sheep are brought, all the different flocks will be brought, and it happened that during that time there were already 3 droves of sheep. That means there are already groups of sheep there. A large stone covered the mouth of the well. Remember, I was telling you that's how they keep the well. You have a big stone covering the mouth of the well. Why do you cover again the well? Because in that place, water is the most precious thing. It's a desert. Okay? And so you put the stone, and the stone will normally be a big stone that not 1 or 2 persons can walk. It is really meant to be really heavy. There should be at least 5 people to hold. What I mean to keep so that nobody can get water. A large stone covered the mouth of the well. Only when all the shepherds were assembled there could they roll the stone away from the mouth. See, can you imagine that? Only when all the shepherds were assembled. So imagine yourself, if you're one of the shepherds, you must have like an agreement. Okay, every 5 o'clock in the afternoon everybody will be here. Okay, so we can help each other roll the stone. That's why even though there are already 3 droves of sheep there, they're still like waiting for the rest. Okay, so that we can open the well. Then they would put the stone back again over the mouth of the well. Jacob said to them, "Friends, where are you from?" "We are from Haran," they replied. Then he asked them, "Do you know Laban, son of Nahor?" "We do," they answered. He inquired further, "Is he well?" "He is," they answered. "And here comes his daughter, Rachel, with his flock." So it's now Rachel taking care of his father's flock. Okay. Then he said, "There is still much daylight left. It is hardly the time to bring the animals home. Why don't you water the flocks now and then continue pasturing them?" Okay, can you imagine Jacob? He's a stranger, and we're like, we're here already waiting, and a stranger comes and tells you like, "Why are you staying here? Why don't you work more?" Okay, why are you wasting your time here? "We cannot," they replied, "until all the shepherds are here to roll the stone away from the mouth of the well. Only then can we water the flocks." While he was still talking with them, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep. She was the one who tended them. As soon as Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of his uncle Laban, with the sheep of his uncle Laban, he went up, rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well, and watered his uncle's sheep. Wait a minute. How did he do that? Right? Here are 3 droves of sheep, so we presume there must at least be 3 shepherds there. Every drove is 1 shepherd at least, but sometimes more than 1, okay, per drove. They have been there, waiting for the other shepherds, so they can roll the stone that covers the well. And here comes Jacob, and sees Rachel. As soon as she saw Rachel, he rolled the stone. Oh, wow. Okay. How did he do that? Again? Because later on, we will know that Rachel, verses from now, is, it says here, verse 17. Okay, let's go to verse 17. Leah had lovely eyes, but Rachel was well-formed and beautiful. Okay. So, when he saw Rachel, well-formed and beautiful, all of a sudden, oh, this stone, I can roll this. What was that? Well, another point to that is most preachers would say that. But for me, I would interpret it, put a little something more acceptable for me. It's more of, remember, this is a far place. It will take, they say, for Jacob to walk from their place, from Canaan to Haran, it will take him at least 20 days. And remember that his mission is to look for a relative, for a wife. And when you talk of relative, you're talking practically of the daughter of your uncle. Uncle who? Laban. Remember the instruction of Rebecca. What was the instruction of Rebecca? Go to my brother. What's the name of the brother of Rebecca? Laban. Now imagine, if you're right there and all of a sudden people told you, and here comes your daughter, the daughter of Laban. Whoa! It's like jackpot prize. I mean, you work for how many days for this mission? And here comes the fulfillment of that mission. I don't really want to interpret it more of, she's beautiful, and because for me that's a little very worldly interpretation. For me it's more of, I can imagine Jacob. He must be like, while walking for how many days, he must be really praying hard. I hope I really find a relative. Can you imagine if you go and travel for like a month walking, and then you get there, you don't find the relatives, and that's your mission? Okay? So put those two together. Maybe those are enough reasons for him to all of a sudden be able to hold a big stone. While he was still talking, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep. She was the one who tended them. As soon as Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of his uncle Laban, with the sheep of his uncle Laban, he went up, rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well, and watered his uncle's sheep. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and burst into tears. So can you imagine? That's why I would say, that's why he burst into tears. Come on, the guys here. Because you saw a very beautiful woman, you burst into tears? But like that, you listen to most preachers, they will say that Jacob was able to roll the stone because Rachel was beautiful and well formed. I don't think so. How do you explain the burst into tears? Just because beautiful and right? It must have been really, for me, the number one, maybe it's part of it, that wow, she's beautiful. But I think the number one reason really is, the mission is accomplished. That's why he could not help and control them, but kiss Rachel and burst into tears. Oh, God, it's so good. Remember the servant of Abraham when he was looking for the wife for Isaac. He was also asking for God's help. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and burst into tears. He told her that he was her father's relative, Rebekah's son. And she ran to tell her father. I'm sure Rachel knows Rebekah. I'm sure her father is still telling her. I'm sure she must be asking her father, where are our relatives? Why only us? I'm sure Laban must be saying, oh, I have a sister, Rebekah, she left with her husband. Actually, she was taken as a wife or a relative somewhere. Therefore, when Rachel heard that, she could not but run to the father. When Laban heard the news about his sister's son Jacob, he hurried out to meet him. After embracing and kissing him, he brought him to his house. Jacob then recounted to Laban all that had happened, and Laban said to him, "You are indeed my flesh and blood." Okay? Have you experienced that, like a relative you have not seen for a long time ago? I remember my father's from Palawan, but my mother is somewhere in Bohol. Okay? And my father, when he went to Bohol, that area had never been there. But when my father saw my mother, during that time they have a boat that travels Cebu. When my father saw my mother, It's how do you call that? Tanan? Gunpoint. She brought my mother to Palawan, and from that time on, disappeared from the family. And remember, during the time, you have the telegram. All that my father said to the family is, "Your daughter is with me in Palawan." What? And I tell you, like, they were still young. And they only met when I was already a priest. And so it was accidental. There was a construction of the road in Palawan, and a cousin of my mom happened to be an engineer. And the lolos and everything saying that we have a relative there, look for this. And true enough, they found each other. And because of that, the family decided to have a reunion in Manila because they're all over. So me and my mom imagine ourselves going out of the airport. As soon as we got out of the airport, there was a big group of people with flowers and everything and crying. Oh my God. Can you imagine here the feeling of Rebecca, or rather Rachel, when she saw, and also Laban. Okay. After Jacob had stayed, after embracing and kissing him, he brought him to his house. Jacob then recounted to Laban all that had happened, and Laban said to him, "You are indeed my flesh and blood." What does it mean? That means, of course, that Jacob had to tell stories, because of course you don't immediately trust just because she said, "I'm a relative." So I'm sure Jacob told stories, "Oh, my mom is like this, my father's like this." That's why Laban said, okay, true, you really are my relative. Okay, you have proven yourself to be true. After Jacob had stayed with him a full month, Laban said to him, "Should you serve me for nothing just because you are a relative of mine? Tell me what your wages should be." Now, my dear friends, that gives us a hint that Laban likes Jacob. Right? Why do you think? How do you think? Because he's already thinking of Jacob staying with him. If you don't like the person, the question is, when are you leaving? Right? But listen to the question of Laban. He said, "Should you serve me for nothing just because you're a relative of mine?" That means he has like, "Oh, stay here and work with me." So I have to pay you. Tell me what your wages should be. He's even like, "Tell me what your wages." Now Laban had two daughters. The older was called Leah, the younger Rachel. Leah had lovely eyes, but Rachel was well-formed and beautiful. Since Jacob had fallen in love with Rachel, he answered Laban, "I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel." Laban replied, "I prefer to give her to you rather than to an outsider. Stay with me." How can a father say that? Right? I mean, how can a father say, "I'd rather give her to you than to somebody else"? It's like giving away your daughter. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, yet they seemed to him but a few days because of his love for her. Wow. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife that I may consummate my marriage with her, for my term is now completed." So Laban invited all local inhabitants and gave a feast. At nightfall, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob consummated the marriage with her. Laban assigned his slave girl Zilpah to his daughter Leah as her maid servant. In the morning, Jacob was amazed. It was Leah. How could that happen? You worked for 7 years to have Rachel to be your wife, and you wake up with Leah. Okay, some people are even asking, "That's impossible, Father." Now remember that during the time they are veiled. The women are veiled, especially when it is the day of your marriage. All the more you are veiled. And of course, this must have happened already late at night for the consummation of marriage. And remember, it is wedding party. There's no wedding party for them without jars of wine. Okay? So it's really possible that it could happen that way. So he wakes up with Leah. Whoa. So he cried out to Laban, "How could you do this to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served you?" Why did you dupe me? And then listen to this verse. It is not the custom in our country, Laban replied, to marry off a young daughter before an older one. Imagine yourself, you are Jacob. I'll read that again. It is not the custom in our country, Laban replied, to marry off a young daughter before an older one. A better version, I don't know where you come from, Jacob, but here the eldest goes first. Okay? I'll repeat that. I don't know where you came from, Jacob, but here the eldest goes first. Are you able to get that? Are you following? What do you think? What do you think? Come on. I want to make sure that you got what Father's trying to imply in what he's saying. Unlike what he did. It's like if you're Jacob, oh my gosh, this is what I did to my brother. He's supposed to have the birthright. I don't know where you came from, Jacob, but here, the eldest goes first. Although we don't believe in karma, okay? But the best way to explain that, karma. What he did to his brother happened to him. The same thing. Now notice, my dear friends, that in his deception, Rebecca helped him. And here, the mother helped him. But here, the father helped her. It's Laban who need Leah. Okay? Wow, it's like maybe I got my they really are related. Yes, that's good. They really belong to the same family. Okay, then he said, finish the bridal week for this one, and then I will give you the other two. The other. In return for another 7 years of service with me. My dear friends, this really gives it away. That means Laban really likes Jacob. Right? Because immediately after that event, he did say, okay, I'll give you the other one. Wait for me again, 7 years. Wait for me again for 7 years. That means he really likes Jacob. Will you give your 2 daughters to the same man if you don't like the person? One is enough, right? But here, work for another 7 years. Jacob agreed. He finished the bridal week for Leah, and then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel in marriage. Laban assigned his slave girl Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a married servant. Let me just open this. I want to show you something. Okay. In order for us to be able to. Okay, now we have, of course, you remember this, right? This is the father of Abraham. So Abraham is the eldest. Nahor, Haran. Nahor has a son named Bethuel. And here, Bethuel has a daughter named Rebecca, brother Laban. Rebecca is the wife of Isaac. Very good. Okay? So Isaac and Rebecca, they have 2 sons. We have Esau and Jacob. Okay. So by the way, what generation is Abraham already? 20. Very good. So Isaac is the 21st. Jacob is the 22nd. So we are now in the 22nd generation. Okay? So I hope you are following. We are already in the 22nd. Okay, so how many more generations until we reach Jesus? Remember that we are following the lineage of Jesus here. Okay? But again, notice that in the genealogy of Jesus, it only begins with Abraham. It only begins with Abraham. So we went beyond the genealogy of Jesus. They don't have the first generation to the 19th generation. Okay, now, this is what I really want to show you. So Jacob, the first wife is Leah. So possibly Rachel, right? But he woke up with Leah. And again, of course, the sister is Rachel. Now Leah has a maid servant given by the name of Zilpah. Okay, Zilpah is the maid servant of Leah. And Rachel also had a maid servant named Bilhah. Okay, you follow that. So where did we stop? Jacob's children. Okay. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, He made her fruitful while Rachel remained barren. I can imagine the life of Leah, especially the women. Can you imagine the kind of life you live? Like, you are sisters, you are married to one man, and you are not loved, while she is loved. Can you imagine how miserable life is? I'm sure inside the house you'll be like seeing your husband always with your sister because Jacob loves Rachel. Okay. So what did God do? It's like, when the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, He made her fruitful while Rachel remained barren. Leah conceived and bore a son, and she named him Reuben. Okay. For he said, it means, the Lord saw my misery. Now my husband will love me. Can you imagine that? You can really see the misery of Leah. Like she was like, oh. And it's so sad that she named the first son Misery. Don't ever name your son Misery. Your son will hate you for that. How could I be named Unfortunate? The Lord saw my misery, now my husband will love me. She conceived again and bore a son and said, it means, the Lord heard that I was unloved and therefore has given me this one. So she named him Simeon, because Simeon means he heard. Again she conceived and bore a son, and she said, now at last my husband will become attached to me, since I have now borne him 3 sons. That is why she named him Levi, which means attached. Okay. Now, if you're Rachel, how would you feel? Now, let's look at the other side. At the beginning, Leah must be like, miserable. But now, it's like, if you're Leah, how would you feel? Barren. Now, remember, my dear friends, during that time, as we have talked about that many times already, for you to be married, and not to have a child, you are considered to be cursed by God. So that's how important it is for a woman to get pregnant. Especially to have a son. Okay, never mind the daughter. The women don't really matter. Right, guys? Guys. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So, a son. And notice Leah, 3 in a row. Okay? So how would you feel if you're Leah? Okay, now, who is loved? I don't care whether I'm loved or not. As long as I have children and you, hello, what can you do with your love? And actually, he had 4 in a row, right? Now at last, my husband will become attached to me, since I have now borne him 3 sons. That is why she named him Levi. Once more she conceived and bore a son, and she said, this time I will give grateful praise to the Lord. It's only this time that it became a positive name. Maybe after the 4th, it already feels like, not miserable anymore. I will give grateful praise to the Lord. Therefore, she named him Judah. But it's also good that the 4th child, the 4th son, is named positively. Positively. I would say that 3 names are like negative. Right? Misery, what's the second one? What's again? Heard my misery. Levi, hopefully he will be attached to me. Even though he doesn't love me, hopefully with the 3 sons, he will begin to love me rather than Rachel, because Rachel cannot give him a son. At least with me, he might fall in love. Finally, the 4th son is named positively. Okay? He gave grateful praise. Okay? Not to preempt, but I'm already preempting. I mentioned it's good that the fourth son is already named positively. Why do you think? Those who already know the story, you are Catholics, prove to me you know the Bible. Come on. Because Judah will be the line. Okay? Judah will be the 23rd generation. Of all the sons of Jacob, he's the most popular. Who's the most popular? Everybody knows him. Joseph. But Joseph is not the line. It is Judah. You follow? Judah, not Joseph. Huh? Most people they thought that Joseph is the most important. No. Judah is the most important because Judah will carry the line. He will be the line of Jesus. Okay, Judah. Although Judah, we will find later on, you will be like scandalized with the life of Judah, but cannot question God. He chose Judah. Okay? I hope you are reading in advance and don't wait for Father. Huh? I mean, before our Bible class, you're already reading, so you can prepare questions and you can also prepare your sharing. Okay, chapter 30. When Rachel saw that she failed to bear children to Jacob, she became envious of her sister. This is what I'm telling you, like, Leah was feeling okay already, not miserable anymore. And Rachel is beginning to maybe feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I will lose my husband. He will begin to love her more than me because she can give him sons. I could not. And so Rachel, what did she do? She said to Jacob, give me children or I shall die. Now she's beginning to be putting the blame on Jacob. And angered, Jacob retorted, can I take the place of God who has denied you the fruit of the womb? Now, I would take that positively and also negatively. Positively in a sense that Jacob at least realizes that it's beyond his, as a man, he has, I'm sure, done everything already. But that's beyond his control. It is a son or a child is God's blessing. No matter what you do, if God doesn't allow it, it doesn't happen. At least that's positive. Yeah, he has already 4. Okay, so in a way, he knows it's not his. Okay, it's no problem in a way. Right? But I take that also negatively because compared to his father Isaac, remember when the book of Genesis, I forgot what chapter already, I think 22. Remember, the Bible tells us that Rebecca is also barren. Remember, I was telling you that all important sons, the mothers will be barren. Except here. It's not, we don't see it here. But most of those sons that are important, the mothers will be barren. To show us of the intercession or the role of God in the producing of that important son. Okay? Now, why do I say take it positively? Because at least Jacob realizes it's beyond his control. It's God's power. But negative in a sense that comparing with Isaac, when Rebecca was barren, what did Isaac do? He prayed for the wife. But here, am I God? Right? But in a way, hey, women, careful also how you deal with your husbands, okay? I'm sure like Jacob is like irritated by the way you are. Okay, alright, die! Right? She could have just asked Jacob instead, husband, can you help me pray that we have a son? Rather than telling Jacob. Okay? So as a man, maybe he's insulted by that. So he said, am I God? She replied, here is my maidservant Bilhah. Now does that remind you of a previous incident? Hagar, very good, right? When Sarah could not bear a son, the maidservant was given. Okay, here, Bilhah. Okay, so have intercourse with her and let her give birth on my knees, so that, what does it mean on my knees? Because Rachel will be praying for Bilhah. It's like saying, okay, sleep with my husband and I will be praying that you get pregnant because your son will be my son. Okay. Go. So that I too may have offspring at least through her. So she gave him her maidservant Bilhah as a consort, and Jacob had intercourse with her. When Bilhah conceived and bore a son, Rachel said, God has vindicated me. Is that true? Of course not, because that's not her son. Okay? Indeed, she has heeded my plea and given me a son. Therefore, she named him Dan. Okay, so Bilhah here. Now, let me explain. On the board, students, I just want to explain the numbering so that you will not be confused. Okay? I'm sure when I showed you these 4 names, you might be wondering, why are they scattered? Father has a reason for doing that because Father will put all the names of the sons here. So I'm trying my best to put the name of the mothers, Okay? And then the numbers here will be the number of the rank in the family. First son, second son, third son. That's why don't be confused. This will be like mixed numbers. Okay? You follow? Okay, so I want to explain that so you don't get confused. So, the 5th son is Dan. Dan is bien. Dan is a Bilhah. That's what happens when you are too tired. You think of ways to make your students awake. Oh, you got that. You're smart. Now I'm lost with that Dan bien. Okay. Rachel's maidservant Bilhah conceived and bore a second son. And Rachel said, I engaged in a faithful struggle with my sister, and I prevailed. So she named him Naphtali, which means I prevailed. Isn't that sad? Like they're making fun of their sons like a competition. Like, I prevailed. I prevailed. Okay, so when Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, now notice, so these are in their tradition, in their, how they consider it. Even though Dan and Naphtali are not sons of Rachel, by the mere fact that Bilhah is the maidservant of Rachel, in a way, they are considered to be sons of Rachel. Of course, for us, we don't accept that. But in their culture, that's how it is. Therefore, if you are Leah, remember when you had 4 in a row and Rachel is not having 1, you are beginning to not be miserable. Right? But you stop getting pregnant. And then the other camp is beginning to have sons. And how would you feel? You'll begin to feel miserable. Wait a minute, what's happening here? That's why, what would she do? When Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, she gave her maidservant Zilpah to Jacob as a consort. Lucky guy. We'll go really like shaking. Lord, what happened here, Lord? Okay. So Jacob had intercourse with Zilpah, and she conceived and bore a son. Leah then said, what good luck. So she named him Gad. Then Leah said, okay, Gad. What good fortune. Okay, then Leah's maidservant bore a second son to Jacob. And Leah said, what good fortune, meaning women call me fortunate. So she named him Asher. So we are now in the 8th son. Okay. One day during the wheat harvest, when Reuben was out in the field, he came upon some mandrakes, which he brought home to his mother Leah. Rachel asked Leah, please let me have some of your son's mandrakes. So, simply mandrakes are like, how would you explain that? It's like fertility thing. Okay, something to help you get pregnant. Okay. Leah replied, was it not enough for you to take away my husband? Why would she say that? Why would Leah, was not enough to take away my husband? Because even though Jacob loves Rachel, technically the first wife is Leah. Okay? That's why for Jacob to take Rachel as second wife, it's like Rachel taking the husband. You follow? That's why Leah said, is it not enough for you to take my husband? He's already married to me still. Still get married with him? Okay. That you're now to come in. Okay. Was it not enough for you to take away my husband, that you must now take my son's mandrakes too? Very well then, Rachel answered. In exchange for your son's mandrakes, Jacob may lie with you tonight. This is really very sad. The competition between the two wives. So guys, don't ever have two wives. That's really trouble. That evening, when Jacob came home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. You are now to come in with me, she told him, because I have paid for you with my son's mandrakes. Oh my gosh, if I have Jacob, I like him. So that night he slept with her, and God heard her prayer. She conceived and bore a fifth son to Jacob. Leah then said, God has given me my reward for having let my husband have my maidservant. How can she say that? She already gave her maidservant, and she still thinks God rewarded her for doing that. Right? I don't believe that. It must be only her thinking of that. So she named him Issachar. Okay? So Issachar is the fifth son of Leah, but the ninth son of Jacob. Leah conceived again and bore a sixth son to Jacob. And she said, God has brought me a precious gift. This time my husband will offer me presents now that I have borne him six sons. So she named him Zebulun. Okay? Finally, she gave birth to a daughter, and she named her Dinah. And why did she call her Dinah? Why? Why do you think? Nothing. No reason at all. That's the point of Father. Notice in every son, there's a reason why the son is named that way. Right? All of a sudden, there's a daughter and no reason for whatever name. Because women don't matter. You follow? So back to the culture. So the women can just name them the way you want. But the men, you really choose the name because the men are, that's their culture. That I don't know. Okay? But all that we know is that Leah had a daughter by the name of Dinah. Some would say Tina. Okay, maybe I should say it now that's why when you talk about the family of Jacob, be careful of the terminology that you use. Okay? Terminology that you use. You don't say 12 children of Jacob. That's technically wrong. You say 12 sons of Jacob. Because if you're talking of children of Jacob, you're talking 13. Okay, but sometimes I can hear teachers or preachers using the term as if he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if you're talking about children, objection, Your Honor, here, to 13 children. But if you're talking of sons, you have 12 sons. Just like of how many years was the Israelites in Egypt. Normally people would say 400 years. I beg to disagree. Okay? Be careful of the term that you use. If you're asking of how long were the Israelites in Egypt, they were there for a period of 430. But if you're talking about of how long were the Israelites slaves in Egypt, you're talking of 400 years. Okay? 400 years. So out of 430, the first years, they were not slaves. They were not slaves. After 30 years of being in Israel, they will begin to hate the Israel, in Egypt rather, they will begin to hate the Israelites and will make them slaves. They will be slaves for a period of 400 years. So the first 30 years, they were not slaves. In fact, they were loved by the Egyptians. And then it began slavery 400 years. So careful of of terminology that he used. So when you say, how long were the Israelites in Egypt? 430. You know, I did that one time in one of my pictures. He got mad at me though. He asked, how many years were the Israelites in Egypt? 430. No, 400. No, 430. Maybe you're, sir, talking about slavery in Egypt. The slavery in Egypt, that's 400 years. Okay. Why did we get there? Okay. I really talk a lot now. Then God remembered Rachel, verse 22. He heard her prayer and made her fruitful. Okay, finally, after having 11 children, now God remembered Rachel. She conceived and bore a son, and she said, God has removed my disgrace. Okay? That is tantamount to say, God has removed what they think of me as cursed by God. Because everybody thinks of her as cursed by God. Has removed my disgrace. So she named him Joseph. Oh, my dear friends, that is the reason why Joseph is the favorite son. You would understand Jacob. Human as he is. Imagine. Between Leah and Rachel, he loves Rachel. Okay? And after doing everything, trying his best with Rachel, they never had a son. And after having already 11, including Dinah, all of a sudden Rachel gets pregnant with Joseph. That's why Joseph will be the favorite son. Because Joseph is the first son of Rachel. That's why Joseph will be the favorite son. Now, we will find it later, still I think 2 chapters from now, but I want to already supply the 12th son, Benjamin. The 12th son will be Benjamin. Okay, but we will find that I think 2 chapters or 3 chapters after. Actually, Benjamin will be born when Rachel is to die. It's like, how do you call that? Like she will die by giving birth to Benjamin. Okay, but just to complete the 12 sons. Okay, so those are the 12 sons of Jacob. Jacob outwits Laban. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, give me leave to go to my homeland. Let me have my wives for whom I serve you, and my children too, that I may depart. You know very well the service that I have rendered you. Laban answered him, if you will, please. I have learned through divination that it is because of you that God has blessed me. Okay, so here we have a clear proof that Laban really likes Jacob. And the reason is, Laban is becoming rich because of Jacob. Okay. Now, why do you think? Why do you think? Why is he becoming bountiful through Jacob? Why? Come on. Because of God. Because the promise of God, right? Jacob, I will give you. That's why in anything that Jacob would put his hand, it will be productive. Okay? And because of that, Jacob works with Laban. Of course, he's taking care of the sheep of Laban, of the flock of Laban. What happens? By taking care of that, everything that he does becomes bountiful, fruitful. Laban will be the one who will become rich. Jacob replied, I have learned through divination that it's because of you that God has blessed me. So he continued, state what wages you want from me, and I will pay them. Jacob replied, you know what work I did for you, and how well your livestock fared under my care. The little you had before I came has grown into very much, since the Lord's blessings come upon you in my company. Therefore, I should now do something for my own household as well. He must be thinking, I have my own family now. I think it's time for me to take care of my family. What should I pay you? Laban asked. Jacob answered, you do not have to pay me anything outright. I will again pasture and tend your flock if you do this one thing for me. Okay? So I will not leave. I will continue to work for you if you do this one thing for me. And what is that? Go through your whole flock today and remove from it every dark animal among the sheep and every spotted or speckled one among the goats. Now this is very confusing, so let me just simplify things. It's like this. Jacob asked him to remove from the sheep all the dark animals, because as you can see in the footnote, because in their place, the common color of the sheep is light gray. Light gray. Okay? It's very seldom that you have a dark colored sheep. Okay? And then for the goats, you normally have the brown or the black. You don't have, very seldom that you have spotted or speckled. You follow? So, to cut the story short, since it's already time anyway. So, Jacob will say, okay, this is what we're going to do. From all the sheep, remove all the dark colors, only the regular sheep, the light gray. Okay? For the goats, remove the spotted and the speckled ones, only the regular goats. Brown and the black. Okay? In the future, once I take care of this, whatever is dark sheep is mine. Whatever is spotted or speckled among the goats, mine. That will be my wages. Those will be my wages. Now, if all your sheep are light gray, what kind of kids do you expect from light gray sheep? Light gray. You don't really don't expect your children to be looking like your neighbor. It should look like you, right? So that's how it is. The goats, you only expect it. So he said, whatever is dark color in the sheep in the future, that will be my wage. Among the goats, if you see speckled or spotted, you don't expect any of that. From now on, will go to me. Okay? So, that same day, let's jump to verse 35. That same day, Laban removed the streaked and spotted he-goats and all speckled and spotted she-goats, all those with some white on them, as well as a fully dark-colored sheep. These he left in charge of his son. So when he removed the dark color, he removed from the goats the spotted and speckled, gave them to his sons. Take care of that. Only the regular animals. I'm using the term regular, right? Regular animals to Jacob. So we don't expect to have. So that's in a way favorable to Laban. Then he put a 3 days journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to pasture the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob, however, got some fresh shoots of poplar, of almond, and plane trees, and he made white stripes in them by peeling off the bark down to the white core of the shoots. The rod that he had peeled, he then set upright in a watering troughs, so that they would be in front of the animals that drank from the troughs. When the animals were in heat as they came to drink, the goats mated by the rods, and so they brought forth striped, speckled, and spotted kids. I remember when I was still a kid, we used to play with that, like you call it tangan-tangan. For us in the Philippines, we call it ipil-ipil. You cut the ipil-ipil tree, you have the bark, right? So, if this is the ipil-ipil, you remove the skin. Once you remove, it goes straight. You realize that when you peel it up, it goes straight. And then this portion again, you peel it again. So it will be white, that's very white. Brown, white, brown, white, brown. We played with that when I was still in elementary, when I was young. That's what he's doing. And then putting it by the watering troughs. Why? Because, I don't know how we call it in Chamorro, but in Filipino, we have what we call as pinaglihian. When you are pregnant, early stage of your pregnancy, when you love something, you crave for something. If you crave for dinuguan, for chamorro, fritada, your son will be dark. if you're pregnant, you always crave for grilled eggplant, it will be violetish. So that's the beginning. So the same thing here. The same thing. That's what he's doing. So what is he doing? He only have the brown and black goats and the light gray sheep. So he's making that because their belief is that when they name and they see something stripes, the kids become stripes also. Okay? Is there like an equivalent Chamorro term for that? For us, because for Filipinos, very clear. When you say pinaghian, right? Very clear with us. When you're pregnant, you always pray for something, and your son will always be looking like what you prayed for. So be careful what you pray for. it's all there. So that's what he's doing. So what happens? He will have more and more. But another thing that he does, okay, in a way, Jacob is a real Jacob. The name Jacob, of course, deceiver, right? Okay. So what he does, when it is the weak animals that is in heat, okay, when it heat, he will not put the rods. He will not put the rods, so that they will mate without the rods. Therefore, the kid will be regular, light gray, or for the goat it will be brown. That's why all the animals that go to Raymond are weak. But it's the animals that are sturdy, strong, that are in heat, he'll put the rods again, so that all the kids that are spotted or speckled will be the sturdy ones that goes to him. He's a real Jacob, he's a deceiver. Okay? Verse 41, just to finish the chapter. Moreover, whenever the hardier animals were in heat, Jacob would set the rods in the troughs in full view of these animals, so that they mated by the rods. But with the weaker animals, he would not put the rods there. Very wise, huh? So the feeble animals would go to Laban, but the sturdy ones to Jacob. Thus the man grew increasingly prosperous, and he came to own not only large flocks, but also male and female servants, and camels and asses. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you, Father. You're done. Yeah. Oh, but that's good that you mentioned that. That's something that I myself thought, how could that be? Because it says that they walk for 3 days. Once they have separated the animals, they said that they separated for 3 days. And of course, the reason to that is so that there will be no intermating with the spot and speckle. But in the story, it says every time that it will mate, he would let the animal see the animals of the regular animal. I said, 3 days walk, how would that happen? But well, that's the regular question. Yes. Okay. I'm supposed to already say 12 tribes, but not yet. Okay, because you want me to explain it now? Am I preempting? Okay, so anyway, fast forward. So this will be the 12 tribes of Israel, because Jacob's name in the next chapter will be changed to Israel. Okay, but these are the 12 sons. They will not really be, strictly speaking, the 12 tribes of Israel. 2 of them will not be included in the names of the tribes. Can you give me those 2 names? Joseph will not be a tribe, will not be quote unquote another tribe. Levi, because Levi is the priestly tribe. They will not have inheritance. When they enter Canaan, this will be chapters later, I can tell you. When they enter Canaan, they will be dividing into tribes. And the tribe of Levi, since they are the priests, every tribe should have a priest. So what they did is, if we are the tribe of Levi, we are all the priests, we will be divided into 12 groups. And one group goes to one tribe. So we will be separated as a tribe because we are the priests. That's why they will, in a way, quote unquote, disappear as a tribe. And Joseph will not be a tribe, so that will be like 10, right? So, Father, how come there are 12 tribes? Because Joseph, fast forward, we know will disappear, right? And that will cause like the frustration, the sadness, sorrow of the father. But we know later on that Joseph will be found, and when the father will find Joseph, he will say, God has blessed me that I have seen you again. I thought you're already dead. But God is so good to me that I found not only you, but including your two sons. Therefore, your two sons, because God is so gracious to me, will be treated like my own sons. That's why the sons of Joseph will be elevated to the level of being sons of Jacob. What are their names? Of course, you don't know, you're Catholics, right? Ephraim and Manasseh, or Manasseh. That's why in the 12 tribes, you won't see the tribe of Levi, although you will still hear the tribe of Levi, but they will not be considered a tribe. Okay? The tribe, those 10, okay, those 10, not Levi and Joseph, and then Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay? The 12 tribes. Okay, let us go stand.